back to another edition of Main Street Connect's FCIAC Football Fast 5. Everything you need to know about Fairfield County High School football, all in 5 minutes or less. With me once again is former Stanford High School head football coach and professional football scout for JL Sports, Kevin Jones. Kevin, great to have you back.
It's great to be here.
All right, question one, recapping our game of the week from last week. Another crazy one. Darien barely beats Wilton in double overtime at a crucial point in the game. Coach Bruce Cunningham gets called for the unsportsmanlike penalty, pushing Wilton back 25 yards. That really could have changed the entire face of the game if Wilton hadn't come back and tied that game up, would you say?
Well, I actually know a lot about getting flagged on the sideline because I had it down to an art form back when I was coaching. As a matter of fact, I kind of have a reputation. But there is an art to it. You know, you never, ever do it on offense, and you never do it in the middle of the field. The only time it's acceptable to get a 15-yard penalty on the coach is when you're backed up in your own end zone about a yard or two away from the goal line, especially like after a touchdown on a PAT and the ref's really killing you and you just want to let them have it. Man, it makes you feel pretty good and you're only giving up a yard and a half. But that's the only time you can do it, all right? And where it happened on this weekend in the Wilton game, it certainly could have changed the outcome of the game. It didn't. They were lucky. They tied it up, went into overtime. But certainly that could have made a big difference in the game. It could have lost in the football game.
All right, question two. Big weekend in New Canaan. Matt Milano broke Kurt Horton's New Canaan High School record for career touchdowns. Where does Matt Milano rank in the all-time greats in Connecticut State history at quarterback?
I'll say this. He's going to go down as one of the best in New Canaan history, and they've had a lot of good ones there. His only problem is that he's kind of going to be, his whole career is going to be in the shadow of UConn commit Casey Cochran, who's got an unbelievable stat. The two of them, their stats are very, very similar. The big difference between the two is that Cochran's done it on 128 less attempts. So 1,500 yards, both quarterbacks, 20 to 22 touchdowns, both quarterbacks, only 2 or 3 interceptions. But Casey Cochran's completed 80% of his passes. So what I want to see is let those two meet up in the state championship again at the end of the season. We'll find out who the best quarterback is, and that may be what writes their name down in the history.
Question three. If New Canaan finishes undefeated this season, would you consider this their most impressive run, since they've done it with arguably their best team effort in a long while and getting several scrappy wins as opposed to the big blowouts we're used to?
Well, I'll give you this one because they've had some really tight wins. They've figured out how to get it done in the clutch in the fourth quarter, and that's been impressive. But mostly, I look at the playoff field. If it were to start today, the teams that they would have to come out of that playoffs to win a state championship would be Windsor, Han, New London, Darien, and will most likely in the end include Casey Cochran and the Massac Panthers. If they can get through that, then I will say, yeah, throw the banner up. This is one of the greatest undefeated teams that Coach Marinelli's had in New Canaan.
Question four. If the season ended today, Norwalk would be the 7th seed in the Class LL state playoffs. 2 easy games left on paper against Harding and Ludlow, and a potential classic against Brian McMahon on Turkey Day. How much would a state playoff berth mean to the Bears program and to the city of Norwalk?
Well, when you're in a town with multiple high schools, you're competing for attention, you're competing for fundraising dollars, you're competing for kids. Silas Red at Penn State and Kevin Pierre-Louis at Boston College, they should have been in Norwalk 2 years ago. They were at a private school. All right, so when you have a year like this and it all comes together, it's really, really special. And everyone in the town of Norwalk should be excited about what the Bears are doing right now, and they should be proud of these kids. They should get out and support this team because I think they're going to make the playoffs and they deserve it.
All right, once again, that'll bring us to our Main Street Connect Game of the Week this Saturday, 10:30 a.m. It's going to be raining, it's going to be sloppy, it's going to be gross. I'm going to be there. Darien at Staples. This is the war. We were circling on our schedules before the season, and we got it. 2 undefeated teams. How will this one go down, and how much is it going to affect the rest of the league?
Well, wet, sloppy, gross, that's what we want, all right? But it's going to be on turf, so don't worry, it'll be okay. The winner of this game, provided they win out, I'm sure is going to go to the FCIAC championship game, and they're going to play New Canaan. If New Canaan falls, then it opens up, a whole bunch of different scenarios where different teams can get in. But it's going to be New Canaan versus the winner of this game. So this game is huge. Both teams have proven they can survive in tight games. Both have proven they can score points. And both have proven they can play in big games. Just look at the history of the last couple of years with these two programs. So statistically, the game is really, really close. And I don't want to have to pick a winner, but you're going to make me. So I'm going to go with Staples. I think too much Massey, too much Zelkowitz. Darien's, young team that does still make some mistakes. I think that's going to catch up with them this week. So prove me wrong, Darien. But I tell you what, if you're a fan, get there early because it's going to be packed, and you're going to need to really spread out some towels and stuff because I think you're going to get wet.
All right, yes, it's going to be a great battle of 2 young quarterbacks, battle of undefeated teams. I'm really looking forward to it. That'll do it once again for another week of questions answered in Fairfield County High School football. Until next time, I'm your host, Eric Gendron.